we're going to talk about how to activate college students on campuses near you. It doesn't have to be a university. If there's a community college near you, that's just as good of a source or a place to go to help develop new activists as any. We're going to cover how to find and contact student groups and professors, give you ideas of things you can co-organize with students, as well as talk about other ideas to help turn college students into activists. Trump continuing to reign obviously threatens civil liberties, immigrant communities, reproductive rights, climate policy, and even the integrity of education itself. But I'm not here to talk about threats. You guys are very well aware of these things. So I'm here to talk about a powerful strategy to fight back, which is activating college students. Young people are often the spark of mass resistance. They have the numbers, the moral clarity, and the reach, but they don't always have the directions or the tools that they need. So that's where we come in. Why are we focusing on college students? Because college students are already in an environment that values justice, theory, and change. They can often be angry, but yet they're hopeful, and they're unsure where to put those energies. They're digitally connected, media fluent, and quick to mobilize. They're also the most affected by policy shifts, student debt, climate change, healthcare, trans rights, reproductive rights, and immigration. So our job is to help them see that their anger and their hope aren't random, they're political, and that there's a community already waiting to welcome them into the resistance. So step number one is to connect with campus activist groups. We don't have to start from scratch. Most campuses already have groups like Students for a Democratic Society, Young Democratic Socialists of America, Students for Justice in Palestine, Planned Parenthood Generation Action, NAACP college chapters, and campus mutual aid networks. So where should we find them? We can look up student organization admins or the student activities office on the school's website. Go to the school's Instagram or Linktree bios. We can go to campus club fairs, which are often posted publicly on the school's website. You can try Googling the school name plus progressive student clubs. Student newspapers and faculty advisors are also solid ways in, especially to understanding what student activists are already doing. So the best way to reach them, number one way to reach them, send them a message on Instagram. You can also email the listed club contact or faculty sponsor. If you're near the campus, go to a public event or a teach-in. We can offer Solidarity Warriors as a space of intergenerational support. We could say, we're here to amplify what you're already doing and connect you with the national resistance strategy. One of the important things that we talked about as part of meeting Gen Z where they are in our last meeting is that students don't, or at least Gen Z in general, they don't want to be told what to do. They don't want to be brought into a movement. They want to be a part of developing it. And so that's why we talk about co-organizing with them a lot. So the step number two is to partner with professors. So professors are often the quiet heroes of political activation. They can introduce us to student leaders, recommend students for a group, and even build resistance from within the university. Departments that we can target are political science, ethnic studies, African American studies, Chicano studies, gender and women's studies, environmental science, labor studies, and sociology. And we can connect with them by attending a campus lecture or an open event. Auditing a class. In most states, adults can audit public college classes for free or very low cost, and it's a way to embed yourself in the ecosystem. You can reach out with a clear ask and say, can we meet to talk about helping students get more engaged in resisting authoritarianism and organizing for justice? We can frame our message like this. We're not asking you to organize for us. We're offering our group as a space for students who want to connect theory with action. And there's another reason to activate professors and students. Campus institutions are vulnerable to Trump's threats. We all remember when Trump threatened to cut funding from universities that allowed protests or taught critical race theory. We need campus-wide resistance coalitions to make sure that universities don't cave. I think we all saw with Columbia that it didn't end with them capitulating to Trump. He will just take more and more. So if students and faculty are already organized, and if they know we've got their back, it's much harder for an administration to say, we'll stay neutral to avoid losing funding, or we will go along with your demands, Mr. Trump. We can help professors pressure the administrators to refuse to cooperate with attacks on student protests and First Amendment rights, uphold inclusive education, and stand up publicly against Trump. All right, step number 3, invite students to join Solidarity Warriors. Make it easy for students to plug in. You can have short on-campus interest sessions. You can bring food. Everyone loves a snack. You can invite them to a special student-led night on Zoom, which we're going to plan in the future. You can create roles for them. So we don't want to just talk at them. Like I was saying, we want to build with them. So talk to them about what they're passionate about. What if they could be a part of this resistance? What do they see themselves doing? And let them know that this isn't about Democrats or elections. Right now, it's about fighting authoritarianism, protecting people, and building community power. So a few final tips. We want to start small. One student activist can lead to 10 or more. So it's not about quantity, it's about quality. So develop those one-on-one relationships. And we also want to listen first and listen more than we talk. Ask what they're already doing or what they wish they could do. We want to be flexible. Some might want to march, others might want to design graphics or manage social media. We want to stay consistent. So we want to show up for any commitments that we make, follow up afterwards with the organizers of the event, and celebrate the wins. College students have shut down wars. They've toppled regimes and birthed movements. They are not apathetic. They're waiting for a reason to believe that they can make a difference and someone to show them how. So that's our mission. Before our next meeting, I challenge each one of you to identify one local college near you. Find one student group or a professor and reach out to them. And next week, not next week, but on August 6th, after our guest speaker, report back and we'll compare notes and build our campus activation map together. So we want to show up where the future is being shaped and make sure that it's not shaped by fear. So I want to open up the discussion now to talk about other ideas that you might have or questions you have about helping to activate college students. A couple ideas to get us started would be co-organizing a food drive. If you live near DU, I have a link for you to get started on that project. You could also hand out small, lightweight books at protests. Books like Democracy to Dictatorship by Gene Sharp is an example. Something that is a quick read that's clear and concise on why civil resistance matters and what it can accomplish. Something fun that one of our friends has been doing is leaving stickers on college campuses around at like bookshops and coffee shops, piles of stickers that have a QR code on the back um, that goes to our Activism Alliance Slack. If you want to grab some of those, they are in the shop on our website. I'll look for that real quick and I'll put the link down there. And who would like to get us started with some other ideas? Hey, Mark, I see your question. I'm going to put a link in the chat to the stickers that we have online. Oh, another fun idea is to wear your Solidarity Warriors t-shirt to spark conversation. I'll drop those links in the chat too. As far as ordering books, I would just go online. The book that I was suggesting, I'll put that in the chat here in a second. All right, it's From Democracy to Dictatorship by Gene Sharp.
Our indivisible group learned a couple of weeks ago that our local community college that most of the students are on SNAP and that a number of students are homeless. And so 2 weeks ago, one of our people took a load of food down there, and then we learned that because the homeless kids also needed shampoo and soap and so forth. So I plunged in and spent $500 this week getting non-perishable food and all kinds of. I went to Dollar General and bought soap and shampoo and lots of deodorant at 100+ degrees, and we're going to be taking that on Tuesday. My indivisible group. I am a retired professor, 20 years at the university and 16 in public schools before that, and I read on their website that this food bank that they have, that they're constantly looking for volunteers. And so my plan is to volunteer. And I don't know how fast people come in, what the turnover is of students coming in needing food and so forth. But I am hoping to find a way to be a listener, to find some students that I can be a listener to them, and from that, perhaps develop some relationships that would lead to students wanting to be part of an active group. And of course, we're all aware of how the president has been punishing colleges. So we have to be careful and protect those folks. But in any event, I have found an end to be a listener and to our Gen Z kids, and particularly to be able to support some of the homeless kids who probably have all they can handle going to school and being homeless, but maybe some of the students who do have homes but are just in very low income situations will be in a position to be interested in being part of a leadership team. That's all. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Millie. That is amazing. I love what your group is doing and you dropping $500 on supplies for the students that don't have homes. That's like I said, it's amazing. Did you say you connected with them through the school food bank?
Apparently the school food bank connected with somebody in our group. She was the school food bank person was looking for donors and knew someone in our indivisible group probably not knowing she was in Indivisible, but knew that she was a philanthropic type of person, and asked if she could help find food for her food bank.
Okay, all right. Then that is a perfect task for anyone in this group that was wondering what part of the college they were going to contact this week. Teresa, go ahead.
Yes, hello. I wanted to bring awareness to an issue. Thought it would be good to help with talking points and also just to share with friends and family. Can you hear me?
Yeah,
Hello?
yeah,
Sorry about that. So I just wanted to tell everybody that Trump's economic advisor, Peter Navarro, has said clearly that they're going to use all the tariff money that they're collecting to help pay for the $4.5 trillion tax cuts. And somewhere between 60 to 90% of the tax cuts are actually going to benefit the wealthy. So that means that they're literally taking money from the pockets of the poor because everyone has to pay tariffs if they buy things, and pockets from the middle class in order to pay for tax cuts that benefit the wealthy, which is really horrible. I don't think that people in MAGA understand that not only did Trump not lower their grocery prices, but he raised them, he knowingly raised them, and now he's going to take the money, the extra money they're paying, and he's going to literally hand it over to the billionaires and the millionaires. So I just wanted to let everybody know that. And then the other thing I wanted to say is that $10 trillion of our national debt, of our 36 trillion national debt, came from prior tax cuts that we couldn't afford, that we're still paying for, and that predominantly benefited the wealthy. So they are literally taking money out of the pockets of our grandchildren and great-grandchildren by taking these tax cuts. And it's going to cause higher taxes and inflation down the line. Also, again, about the tariffs, it's kind of like welfare because they're taking money from the pockets of the poor and middle class, which is free public money, going into the pockets of the billionaires. So it's sort of backwards, it's welfare going into the pockets of the wealthy. So I just thought I would share that. I did put something in the chat about articles and one video from Peter Navarro, the economic advisor.
thank you so much, Teresa.
You-
That's definitely great information to have. One word of caution as it relates to the main topic. Just like anyone who's maybe not as politically active as we are, getting into facts may not tap into their emotions. So it's perfect to ask, like, how do you feel right now? What worries you? And then connect it back to those things, one at a time.
Yeah.
But yeah, it's great information to have.
I just thought it would be nice for people to know where the tariffs are going because it's a huge deal. The Republicans can spin the issue of Medicaid being cutting waste, fraud, and abuse. They can try to spin that and say that it doesn't affect people's benefits, which is not true because it will affect their benefits. They can try to excuse that cut away, but they cannot spin taking money from the pockets of the poor and middle class to pay for tax cuts that benefit the wealthy. And that's why I think it's such an important statistic to know.
Exactly. Yep,
Yeah. Thank you.
of course. Would also like to comment, if you'd like to say what step you're going to take this week to get in touch with students near you, or feel free to ask any questions you might have. I'll give people a minute to think about it and raise your hand. If you're not sure how to raise your hand, feel free to just come off mute and talk. And I'm going to read over the chat and see if there's any questions we should answer. Jane, go ahead. Jane, you're on mute.
There you go. I am so impressed. I was at the last meeting when I think you read that letter from the Gen Z person who didn't want to read it themselves. and it was so informative. And being an older person, and there are a lot of groups I belong to where there are a lot of people like me, and they're saying, or my age, and they're saying, well, what can we do to attract, youth to our movement? And I wish they would go to these meetings because they don't understand. They still think that the youth are apathetic, and I heard someone actually say, they're apathetic to politics because they haven't suffered enough yet, which is just crazy. So I
Yeah.
am so happy that you're doing this with Gen Z. I mean, I never thought they were apathetic or anything. I've always felt very hopeful and eager to know what their thoughts were because they're very creative, very energetic. And, I am going to try to speak to these people that bring this up in other groups and say some of the things I learned here.
Awesome. That's really, really good to hear. Becca has a good point that I did not think of because I was so busy cramming my summer class homework. Becca said school's not in session right now. There's only a few classes going on right now. Now might be time to contact professors or heads of departments. The department heads might be a little tricky, but professors' emails are usually on the website somewhere, and they often read their email during the summer. But you're right. Some of these like in-person things might wait, but it sounds like Millie was connecting with the student food bank, and they were definitely still working with students that are deeply in need. Richard and Becca?
Yeah, I'm really new to any kind of activism. And you've been to all the marches we can go to. But as far as feeling that there's something to do, it just feels like, I don't know, I feel kind of inert. And I'm wondering if there's people that can share success stories or yeah, I want to have a sense of what to do. I mean, I listened to um, Heather Cox Richardson, and she says, write your local senators and your congress people and your governor, but we have all Democratic, even though we're in Arizona. So we're a very purple state, but writing to our representatives, they're already on board. So I'm just wondering if anyone who has more experience in movements can give some success stories or some ideas.
Sure, I've definitely got some great ideas for you. Indivisible has a web page about what we can do when we live in an all blue state here in Colorado. So I'll look for that link. And then I'm also going to put a link in the chat right now. This is nokings.org/next. And this has a ton of great things that you can do, groups that you can join, and it gives you a whole bunch of actions that you can take, other than just showing up to protests. Protests are hugely important because they draw more people into the movement. They give people permission to think differently. They show people that they're not alone and that there are millions of us that think just like they do. But there are definitely things going on or that need to take place beyond protesting. And I think you would enjoy the 1 Million Rising training that Indivisible is doing. So I'm going to put those links in the chat as well. They already did session 1, but I'll put the link to session 1 in the chat where you can watch it on YouTube. So there's a few resources for you. All right. Millie, did you want to speak again?
Just to say that I dyed my hair. I had my beauty operator dye my hair cobalt blue last month, and I
Okay.
thought that would be a really good way to relate to kids when I walk on campus.
I mean, I should.
I'm 73, so
I'm waiting until I can be the older lady with the funny colored hair.
What would-
All right, you didn't have anything else you wanted to say, Millie? Okay, Passion, go ahead.
I wanted to second Jane's comment about apathy. When I was younger, I really was. I didn't believe in voting. And my child's other parent doesn't believe in voting still, but they come from an indigenous point of view. And so it's kind of, for them, it feels like they're being sold out, which sucks because I try to explain to them how things change with that, but it's hard to convince people. But anyways, I no longer feel that way. I believe like Democratic Socialist or party mostly, or Green Socialist. But the other thing I meant to say was earlier this evening at 4:30, I attended a DU Rotary Club, so the University of Denver. And if you guys don't know what Rotary International is, it was founded in 1905 in Chicago, and it's changed drastically over time. They're the ones that had the End Polio Now campaign and managed to pretty much cure tons of people of polio all over the world, and as well as other things. And so they the way that they changed this real quick is they used to have no women allowed, and then this woman named Sylvia Whitlock took the Rotary International to the Supreme Court. She was a Rotary California member, voted in as president, but then the International said no, and she won, and now there's an award named after her. But so there's Rotary clubs all over the world, and on Monday there's the group. There was Gen Zs. I'm not Gen Z. I'm late millennial. I'm 30, so I'm like a non-traditional student. Most of the people in the group are younger than me, like early 20s or something, and so they are excited to get in with that. But the thing that is scary for me is I just went to the Inglewood Rotary, and this guy who lived in Texas most of his life is going to be the president soon. And he told, I was wearing my Homeland Security shirt with the Native Americans on it. And he told me that Native Americans aren't citizens. And I said, Native Americans are I said my family's Native American. And so he like said sorry to me, but I still don't feel like he's sorry. And everyone, there were other people in the group agreeing with him, and there seems to be like two token people of color there. And so there's just different types of Rotary groups, and that because it's just so prevalent. So I think that it will be strategic to work with these drastically opposing people, but at the same time I'm scared, so I've just been kind of stressed out. But I I just watched like these former CIA people videos and how they're talking about moving away and what they did when they worked for the military, and I don't know if anyone has any advice out there, but there's no way I can leave the state legally. I am binded to Colorado and I'm not allowed to leave the state, so it just sucks. But hey, I don't know if anyone has helping mentorship or whatever dealing with these oppositions.
Passion, thank you so much. I know that's really hard to come up against, especially when it's about your person, your identity and your heritage. So that was really fucked up, and I'm sorry you had to go through that. One thing I learned when I used to knock on 130 doors a night for Get Out the Vote or fundraising for progressive groups was that it's easier to talk to people that at least are somewhat on your side, and motivate them versus trying to convince people who are opposed to you. So I don't think you need to spend your time in groups that are hostile like that, or at least where there are, multiple members echoing the hostility. I think it's better. There's so many campus groups. I think it's better to just keep looking, and find the group that is, generally in alignment with what we're doing.
Thanks. Yeah, true that. It's just that specific group. Coincidentally, the international changed over time, like having women presidents, and the highest paid person was a Ukrainian immigrant, like he's a first generation American. But it still sucks to be so close to these hateful people.
Yeah, I hear you. Froggy, I think you're next, and then we'll have Patty and Mary.
Thanks. What I want to put out there, and you've even said it, and I appreciate it so much. There's been people who are like, I don't know what to do. I don't know where to start. I don't know where to go with Gen Z. I know all of us don't want to doom scroll and live on the flipping internet all the time, but there are some Gen Z indie journalist guys that are amazing. They are taking the fight to them. And these are young people that are in their like early 20s. One of them, he was a debater in college. He's 22. He's debating MAGA. He's debating these people with ideas like what Passion had to do with, and he does it well. Another person he's Dean Withers, another one that's a Gen Z, like they didn't start political, but they're very political now, is the Adam Mockler group. Because we all know like Midas Touch and all those guys out there, a lot of people have seen them, but they're us, right? They're millennials, they're Gen Xers, they're boomers, they're older, they've got a little different take on it. So if you kind of want to see like where a lot of the Gen Zers and where their talking points are, and a lot of like what they're looking at, if you don't mind going down the rabbit hole, they're on Instagram, they're on Substack, they're on Blue Sky, they're on YouTube, they're on Facebook. They repost their stuff everywhere. And so you might actually be able to touch base with some of these people, pointing those guys out, or at least learning kind of like where the Gen Z talking points are by going down there and looking at those guys. Adam Mockler is one of them. Thanks for asking, Monica. Dean Withers. Another one is Luke Beasley. And they are the new generation of social media journalists. And they're, thank you, Tiffany. There's a lot of really good info that they're putting out. They're also trying to, yes, he is. The fact that I found out that Dean Withers was only 22, like within the past month, like just blew me away, because he is very articulate, and he's, we can go watch Bondi on Jubilee, and I think we need to stop giving them space to talk their crap, because some of the stuff that they're Gen Zers, and I feel sorry I have 6 kids, and I have 2 of them that are 14-year-old twins who they are apathetic. They don't want anything to do with this. They don't want me to talk about it. They don't want to be in it. You guys want to make posters for the Nope, don't want to have nothing to do with it. So I think maybe, like you guys said, it's really hard to get into those spaces and find those people that may not necessarily agree with you, but will let you talk. And those guys kind of like, I support them 100%, because like you guys said, the kids, that's what this is about. I mean, I've got a 34-year-old, a 32-year-old, a 28, 27, and 2 14-year-olds. And I'm like everybody else, I'm pissed. The only problem with making my kids do it anyway, they know what's going on. And that's the other thing, that the really young Gen Zers, because they're like the last generation before you hit alpha, they see the damage, I think, more than the college kids and even the high school kids. The middle schoolers are like, this is happening, this is happening, this is happening. They're making jokes about Swiss cheese because of the fire. What's the difference between American cheese and some other cheese? And they're like, well, American cheese is actually Swiss cheese, because they don't know how to deal with all the school shootings. They're scared of ICE coming into their
Wow.
schools. These kids don't want to hear it anymore. They're afraid. So we got to kind of hit the older Gen Zers to kind of help the younger Gen Zers. So I appreciate you guys making this a point of kind of getting those younger, miseducated and undereducated kids who don't want anything to do with politics because they're done. They're done. They've heard it all and they don't want to hear it anymore. So thanks for letting me speak. I hope those few guys out there can help you guys kind of see where the Gen Zers are sort of floating in all of this. And a lot of them are very angry and they are ready to do something about it. So you are not wrong about that. So thanks for your time, guys.
Froggy. The training that Froggy mentioned that we did a couple weeks ago was meeting Gen Z where they're at. If you missed it, I just put the link to it in the chat. It was actually a presentation that was written by one of our Gen Z members, but they wanted to remain anonymous, so they asked me to give it to y'all. All right, Mary, you're next.
Hi, thanks. I'm outside, so I have my headphones on. Hey, I wanted to address Paxson. I'm a member of Boulder Rotary. I'm new, just like 9 months in. So my experience with the Boulder Rotary is completely different than what you shared. So I sent you a private message inviting you to one of our meetings. So I think any civil service group is going to be different based on the fact that the people in those communities, especially in Colorado, you know, we're a very diverse state. So the number of people that you spoke to, you know, can limit your perspective on that particular group, but they're all made up of individuals. So I'm a new member of Rotary. I feel completely safe when it comes to being in that crowd and the opinions I have that I share with all of you. So I'm just inviting anybody, especially Paxson, if you want to come up here. That's it.
Thank you so much for inviting me.
Yeah.
I didn't get that message. Oh no, I see, my bad.
Mhm.
All right, Mark, you're up. You are on mute, Mark.
I'm in the middle of the Vatican as far as the LDS Church is, and in Salt Lake City, and I wanted to see if there was a way to get to, even if it was like a local ward, which is, you know, like their local church. Kind of, I'm not LDS, and but I've been in this area for 30 plus years. And so a lot of them are very, very good friends. But as soon as I get on the topic of politics, they tend to back away and that kind of thing. And there is a group I found that, and I think there was a representative at one of the rallies, and it's Mormon Women for Ethical Government. And that was the first time I saw something like that. So, my thoughts are that if I went after or got a contact in there and just talked to one of them or whatever, and because I know I'd have to ease my way into it. I talked to a neighbor who I'm really close to. They're like family, but also is LDS, and she gave me some advice, and she's got a lot of the same viewpoints I do. That we do, but there's almost a fear factor of going against the grain for them. And so she was kind of like, oh, I said, maybe if I talk to one of the bishops, maybe you could introduce me to your bishop of your ward, which is the head of that particular church. And maybe I could just talk with them and find out where they're at and where he's at or she's at, or it's always a he's at. And she was like, no, I'd stay away from that kind of thing. And so I'm trying to find an avenue into that because obviously they're so prevalent here. And they do a lot of great work on social issues for both members of the church as well as those outside the church. And if I could appeal to some of those, and I read some of the information on the website for that, the Women for Ethical Government, and their viewpoints are not much different than a lot of the things that we talk about. And so although they preach that they're not, Democrat or Republican, and no, they're not partisan, that kind of thing. So I thought that may be an avenue where I could try to get my foot in the door, and find out if there's something I can do to get my message across, or our message across, to that group of people. And I know that when I talk to some of the younger folks, that they're much more open to listening to other ideas and that kind of stuff, is as opposed to those that are entrenched in what they've been brought up with all their life. And so I'm just thinking about that. And if anybody, I don't know what your population of LDS folks are in Colorado, but I imagine there is a presence there because you're so close to Utah. And that if anybody has any other ideas of what they've done, or haven't done, but any ideas they would have on approaching the church in that fashion.
I don't have any specific ideas on that, as I don't have much experience with LDS. We actually don't, to my knowledge, at least where I've lived in Colorado, which is the general kind of northern to central Denver area. We don't have a big presence of LDS here. But I am gonna put my email in the chat. So closer to elections, you might want some of these stickers. I made them, they say woman to woman, your vote is private.
Oh, that would be,
So obviously you can't go into women's restrooms and put these up, but I'm sure you know some women that can.
Yeah.
We were putting them on the inside of the stalls in women's restrooms.
okay. That's a start. Appreciate that. And you said you'd put something in chat, how to get
Yeah,
this.
so if you can see the picture of the sticker, my email is right above it. If you email me, I can send you a whole bunch of them.
Okay, I didn't get all the way down here, so bear with me. Oh, yeah, I see it. Okay.
And
Very
then
good.
Margie posted a link as well, leavingmaga.org.
Okay, great. That's helpful. Okay, thank you so much. I appreciate the feedback. And I'll keep you posted.
Okay. Passion, the stickers have the QR code to the Activism Alliance Slack on the back. So that way, we also have some Solidarity Warriors stickers that have our website and the QR code on the front. So I can check and see how many of those I have left. But anyone who wants to email me, I can send you out some stickers that you can take to sympathetic businesses near campuses.
Okay,
Oops, wrong email. Let me fix that.
is this
Yeah,
for the,
we came up.
is that for the women to women?
So yeah, if you email me, I will send you some of those. And then I was just saying for everyone in the meeting, if
Oh,
you want stickers that you can put out in businesses around campus, like leave small stacks of them so that people can just pick them up. I will send those to you.
and that is the actionsolidarity.org email?
Yes.
Okay. Great. Thank you, Tiffany.
You're welcome. All right. Are there any other questions, comments? Jeanette, go ahead.
Hey, I'm trying to get my technological life together here. I'm mostly online with you guys on my phone, and so sometimes trying to figure out how to share separately and share to the group. I did want to mention, though, one of the things that's really been a pretty decent draw lately has been the group No Enemies that meets once a month to do singing together. And it's been a draw for, a lot more young people than sometimes are showing up in the marches. They like the chanting, they like the music, and also it's a space. August 24th is the next rehearsal, and it's at Presbyterian Heights or Capitol Heights Presbyterian. I think that's on Fillmore. It's at 2:00, and it's a Sunday. I think I put that in the chat, but I think I at least put it in Tiffany's chat, so I don't know if it went on the broad chat. But anyway,
yeah,
it's a really interesting thing to watch when people come, like even for the first time, and they're new to it all, to see Jamie Laurie and other people there who have some background in singing and marching and stuff. It's a great kind of energy. And the point of it really is not just to have like leaders of singing, but to create confidence in people knowing we can all sing. And we can all be in groups of 10 or 1,000 and be singing and chanting and helping people to do that. And it's really fun to watch people of different generations sharing kind of old songs from the civil rights era and new songs coming together. And so there's a lot of great energy in that. So I wanted to just raise that up as a possibility for those of you who are here and looking for some interesting new things you might want to at least check out.
So much, Jeanette. I guess I completely missed it, or it got displaced by the million other things I was thinking of that day. That you had said that it was bringing together like different generations of people. Someone in our meeting who is from North Carolina, I think a couple weeks ago, had the idea to have a music festival that would have music from the 60s through today and bring generations together. And I think that's such an amazing idea. It's something I want Solidarity Warriors to organize along with some partners. We were looking at like an October date on the calendar and realized it's just not enough time to fundraise and get it all together before it gets cold here. So it's something that we're probably looking at for next summer.
But even for some of the marches that'll be coming up before it gets cold, there's a couple of options, and one is to just allot some time when there is a gathering to either introduce singing together, introduce a song to the larger group when there's a mic and stuff. And if there's going to be some marching, just say, hey, we're going to be over here. There'll either be song sheets or there'll be a QR, and just join us. And people really pick stuff up, and it kind of just goes from there. So we've been trying to get together to talk a little bit more about enough organization, because it's kind of fluid, like many groups now. And so we want to keep it fluid and for people to take it wherever they want it. But for the big marches, especially downtown, it seems like it's more important than ever to figure out when the march is going to step off, if the leaders want some music, where to gather, just some of the organizational stuff. So we're trying to kind of put that together. But that's pretty easily done once we know what the march is, what the focus is, and if you want to coordinate. So.
Okay.
Yep.
Yeah, and I know we talked about that right before the Good Trouble protest. And the march was organized by one of the groups in the coalition, so we didn't have much say in that one. But yeah, I will definitely bring it to the table because we all are meeting on Friday. So yeah, I would love to have them.
And Jamie's going out of town for a little while. That's why he said, if you can get to me in between time, he's going to be gone for a little while, but tell us kind of what would be helpful. And if you or any of the folks from Solidarity Warriors want to come over on the 24th, that would give you a great feel, you or anybody else, of kind of
Yeah.
how that's put together. And then it's easier to do the ask once you know kind of what that looks like and say, oh, I know what we could use. So
Yeah, I want to plan on it. Is that a
Okay.
Saturday?
it's a Sunday, 2 p.m.
Okay, I
Okay.
can do that.
Okay, great. Thanks.
Yes. I was just gonna, do you want to post that flyer in the chat where everybody can see it? I know you shared it on your screen earlier, but maybe if people want to download it. Sharon, I have not heard about a Families First national protest this Saturday. No, I have not heard about that. This Saturday in Colorado, I forgot to tell everyone, we are organizing 2 bridge brigades in Southwest Denver. So we are gonna have we have people that are making banners and letters to attach to the bridge or hold up that say Colorado demands the Epstein list. This is like such a pivotal moment where there are actually cracks in the MAGA movement, where people are starting to wake up. His supporters feel betrayed. Let me actually see if I can find this video clip and play it for you, because this is what I listen to when I'm feeling down. Let me pull it up on YouTube.
My oldest daughter, Camilla, 2 days old, she had to have open heart surgery. All of a sudden, she's on 5 different medications, GoodRx.
Sorry guys, that's the wrong video. Well, apparently I pasted over my link. So anyway, there were a whole bunch of Trump's followers that were just going off on the Jen Psaki show, who's in Rachel Maddow's time slot now on Tuesday through Friday. I'll see if I can find it again and I'll send it out in an email. And you're talking about the Oxfam March this Saturday? I don't know if there's one in the Denver area. Thank you for that link. Oh yeah, Pat, we had Notes of Dissent there. They are awesome. They actually were at No Kings as well, but I don't think they were involved in that march. All right. Phil, you're asking about the Rage Against the Regime protest. We are not part of organizing that. But yeah, if other people want to check it out, go for it. That one's organized by 5051.
Did we get a link to that?
The Rage Against the Regime protest.
Right.
That one is just in Colorado.
Oh, okay.
It's
When
yeah,
is
sorry.
it?
When I say 5051, I mean Colorado 5051. Peggy, you were asking when is it?
Yes, please, Tiffany.
It's on August 2nd.
Oh, yes.
But I-
Okay, heard it. Thank you so much.
okay, you're welcome. Oh, Phil said it might be nationwide. Let me see what I can find online. Oh, there you go. Dwayne found the link. Mark, if you want to click on the link at the very bottom of the chat,
Yeah, I
that will take you to it. Mary, go ahead. Oh, you're muted.
Sorry. Saturday, there's a lunch down in Denver sponsored by Solidarity Warriors. Correct? Is that
The-
still on?
The mile
For
long
reminding
table.
me, yeah, so we are a co-sponsor of the Mile Long Table, and I actually still have free tickets available. So let me put that link in the chat. I'm glad you guys are on top of all the things that I'm forgetting. I've literally been getting up at 1 o'clock in the morning to do school before the job that pays me, before my activist work in the evening. So my brain's a little mushy at this point. But yeah, I'll find that link for you.
You're doing great.
Thanks. Plus,
Thank
I'm
you.
down a co-host tonight. All right, so there's a link to some free tickets for the Mile Long Table. You can also donate. This is an amazing organization, Longer Tables, but in Colorado, they decided to do a mile-long table, so it's literally 5,280 feet long, to seat 5,280 human beings from different backgrounds. You'll have no idea who you're sitting next to. There's conversation starters on the table, but the idea is to reconnect with other human beings in our community. And for those of you outside of Colorado, just Google Longer Tables and see if they're doing an event in your area as well.
What did you call it? Longer tables?
Yes, I think it's Longer Tables. Let's see. I'll find their website for you, but I think it's just longertables.org.
Yeah.
Longertables.org. Question, go ahead.
I just wanted to mention what I put in the chat about People's Sick Day. And it's like this movement that a woman named Karis Marie started, and there's a group on Facebook for it too. But the idea is for the people who are too scared to protest on the street. So like former felons that if they get arrested, they'll go back to prison for a long time, or people who are literally sick and are disabled, or people with anxiety issues. And the point of this type of organizing is that if you know people like this, like I have, I sent this to them and they said it was helpful. And it's asking people to walk out from work and not spend money on certain day, like to contribute to the economy, because one of Karis Marie's points is that these on the street protests boost the economy. So like, oh, we're out and about, let's go get some McDonald's after we go protest, like something ridiculous like that or something. And so what she's trying to say is if you are going to do that, like remain in the spirit, remember to donate to the people who helped make that protest happen. And if you must go out and about for food, try and go to a local social enterprise that's, that benefits the community. But yeah, that's the basic idea of People's Sick Day. I put a thing in the chat about it.
Thanks so much. Well, folks, any other comments or ideas or questions tonight? Another idea for protesting at home. We had someone during No Kings that sent us a link for a Zoom protest. So that's an option as well. Sometimes someone will like live stream the protest. into a Zoom meeting that people at home can watch. Margie, go ahead.
Okay, thank you. Finally unmuted myself. Mobilize.us, I'm just now putting that link in the chat, is a way to like join phone banks and other things that are virtual. So anybody who doesn't want to protest like in person, there's so many candidates that need phone banks, and my experience has been really good phone banking, and like that's how Susan Crawford got won her election. She's a district judge, and she was running against a whole bunch of money from Elon Musk. So
Oh, I was on mute.
Yeah, I just recommend mobilize.us.
Thank you. Mobilize is an awesome site. I wanted to add that Solidarity Warriors has our own Mobilize account now. So if you all want to host a protest or a community event or a social gathering and you want to list it on Mobilize, I can help you do that. I'll put my email in the chat in just a second. Somebody wanted our YouTube channel link, so oh, 1 second. Great. So my email one more time, if you'd like to have an event listed on Mobilize, please send me an email. But it is a great source for things like phone banks, protests, events in your community. But yeah, there are definitely a lot of virtual things on there, and you can even set your filters to only show virtual events. All right, folks, I'm going to call it a wrap.